Okay, hi there. This is Kim Willis again, and I've got another little lesson just based on my experiences as a home-based marketer, home-based business owner, if you like. And nothing technical today. It's really just three core principles, essentially. Principles for success, we might call them. And the first principle is to do with effectiveness. We need to be effective. Lots of people will, speak to lots of prospects. I've noticed this with some people that have joined my team, for instance. They're busy, they're active, they're talking to lots of prospects, but they're not getting a result. Why is that? Maybe it's because they're not effective. That's rule number one. You've got to be effective. So you've got to master the basic skills of doing business. And if doing business for you is about generating inquiries or leads, finding people to talk to, and then talking to them, well, they're the two key areas that you've got to be effective in. So we have to be effective. It's not enough just to be going through the motions of work. We have to be effective. Probably the most important skill that I've acquired over the last few years is to do with my ability on the phone. The phone was always a terrifying instrument for me. I never felt comfortable on the phone. More of a face-to-face guy. But because I knew when I started with my my original product in 2006, because I knew that I was going to be getting inquiries and dealing with people all over the country and perhaps all over the world, I knew I had to be effective on the phone. So I had to kick the fear thing. I just had to boot it down the steps. I really did. It was do or die. And I was burning my bridges. I had no other source of income. So I had to do something to bring in a living wage at the very minimum. Okay? And I realized that the phone was going to become an essential part of my daily activity, or the use of the phone. And so I had to overcome my fear, and fortunately I was able to overcome it reasonably quickly, partly because I really made the commitment to be effective on the phone. And within a week or two I was effective on the phone. I was becoming effective on the phone. Not perfect, but becoming effective on the phone. And because of that, my confidence went up. And because my confidence went up, my enjoyment of the role increased exponentially. And my fear just dissipated. It just left me. Now, there are still times today, in 2011, that particularly if I haven't made calls for a while, if I've been away or it's been on a holiday or something like that, the first day or two back at work, the little fear thing comes back again. Okay? So, it's not that we're immune to fear, it's that we handle it. Some people recoil from fear and sit in the corner sucking their thumb, right? Whereas there are other people who still experience the fear, but they're better at handling it. They're more effective at handling it. So even after I've been away and I haven't made calls for a week or two, within a day or two, I'll be back in there. And after an hour or so, I'll start to be feeling good about myself again. Having one or two good conversations with good prospects always helps, big time. And by the end of that day, I'm feeling pretty good again and ready for another few weeks of intensive activity. So rule number one is to be effective. Rule number two is to be consistent and persistent. And consistency is very important. There's no point in let's say, using the phone call analogy, spending 2 hours on phone calls today and then not doing anything more till next week. It would be better, in fact, if 2 hours was your total allocation for the week. It would be better to spend 15 minutes a day or half an hour a day for 4 or 5 days. than to do 2 hours and not do anything more for a week. Why? Because we'll be able to experience the pump effect. Okay, if you do half an hour today, by the end of that half an hour, particularly if you're effective, you satisfy rule number 1, you should be feeling fairly pumped at the end of that half hour, and that will then take you into day 2, where you can do another half hour. I prefer an hour, quite frankly. I think an hour is the minimum, but let's say it's half an hour. And hopefully you'll do another half hour and you'll be feeling pumped at the end of that half hour. That'll take you into day 3, and so on, you see. Whereas if you do 2 hours now and you don't do anything more till next week, it's probably going to, because the pump effect will have worn off by next week, and you're probably going to need a half hour to an hour to warm up next week. So you've basically wasted half of that 2 hours just trying to get back to the point where you're effective again, you see. So you're much better off doing a smaller amount on a consistent basis each day for, say, 4 days. I don't phone 7 days a week. I phone 4 days a week. That's it. I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. I don't do any phoning. As a rule, occasionally if I'm really overloaded with inquiries and leads, I'll do a little bit on Friday morning, but I mean it's a little bit. It's like, it'll be an hour max. So that's rule number 2. You need to be consistent and certainly persistent, which leads me into the final rule, number 3, and that is you've got to be relentless. You've got to be relentless. And I think that's probably another secret to my success, in that I am absolutely relentless. You know, I allocate 4 days a week to this phoning thing, and I am relentless. I will just keep going until I get a result that I want. And I will have set, an activity goal for the day. I will have set a quality chat goal for the day, because I do like to have at least 3 quality chats with people on the phone per day. Okay, occasionally it's face to face over a cup of coffee. That counts as well, of course. But I'm relentless. I'm absolutely relentless. What I lack in talent, I make up in relentlessness. Is that a right word? Look it up. I'm not sure, and I really don't care. But being relentless is more than just being persistent. Persistent is important, but relentless, I think it takes persistence to a higher level. It's perhaps more aggressive, if you like. Not that I'm that aggressive on the phone. I'm not, but I'm supremely confident on the phone. I'm definitely not high pressure. In fact, I'm the exact opposite. That's why people come to me. I use attraction marketing. They come to me and they're drawn to me. Okay, that's really should form the basis of another topic, or another lesson. They're sort of drawn to me, so I don't use aggressive techniques, but I am very confident, and I'm relentless. I follow up. I don't just make an initial contact. I always follow up. Well, at least I attempt to. I'll send an email out. That's part of follow up. That's part of being relentless. Then a day or two later, I'll typically phone them back. That's part of being relentless. I don't take it too far, mind you, because the last thing I want to be seen to be doing is being a pest or lacking posture. I'm very big on posture, you see. So, I don't outstay my welcome. I'll do that follow-up call, yes, I will do that. But if it goes to voicemail, well, I'll leave a message, and that'll be it. I'm not going to keep chasing that person. I might do another follow-up email, say, listen, I left a message for you. I was just following up to see if you had any questions. Give me a call, and that's it. I ain't gonna follow up again, okay? But within the framework, my relentlessness framework, I am relentless, okay? And then when I'm finished with that prospect, if they don't do business, okay, fine, into the bin, and I move on to the next one. Totally relentless. I don't allow, any setbacks to slow me down. That's part of being relentless. Okay? So look, hope you got something out of that. Number one, you've got to be effective. Number two, you've got to be persistent and consistent. And number three, you have to be relentless. Hope that helped. Bye for now.